you said something on social media the other day that outer space is the ocean.
Right.
Explain that.
I can't do it.
You can't explain it?
I can explain it, but I don't want to explain it on camera.
Is it one of those things where it's just like, we don't know what's up there and we don't know what's down there?
Kinda.
The ocean is the new outer space.
Straight up.
It is?
Yeah, you know these
Straight
guys
up.
who died, they were explorers like Christopher Columbus and all that.
Gerald the dolphin really did abduct that man, and I don't care what anybody says. Now, this whole situation has blown up about the Florida man that claimed he was abducted by a pod of dolphins, and the lead dolphin name was Gerald, and they forced him to build this underwater city. People think it's absolutely crazy, but it's actually not. Now, if he said any other type of animal, maybe I would have been like, yeah. But the fact that he specifically said these dolphins, now dolphins are literally one of the most intelligent animals in the world. And I've actually seen videos on TikTok where people that were staying near where the, so-called abduction took place, where there were planes and helicopters floating, like flying by really low, observing the area, which is very weird because if it was such a hoax and, so made up, why would they be doing that? But I don't think people realize how, unique dolphins are. Like, dolphins used to literally help women give birth, like painless birth back in the day. It is literally illegal to communicate with them. And there was literally a situation where NASA had hired this team of people to basically stay on this water floating home with dolphins to teach them how to talk and speak English. Yes, it is a way that dolphins can communicate. And it is said that dolphins literally, know ancient secrets. That's one of the main reasons they don't want us communicating with these dolphins, because they don't want us to know that they're in cahoots with all these other species and, extraterrestrial stuff. Not even long ago, the government literally came out with a press conference saying that there are literally aliens and flying saucers, UAPs, or another word for UFOs, in these different spacecrafts in the ocean. Now, the dolphins live in the ocean. They know everything. Mermaids are said to be in cahoots with dolphins. If you see dolphins, 9 times out of 10, they have a mermaid friend. But this whole thing, people are making it into a joke, which is hilarious, all the memes. But I really, really do believe everything this man said. And now they're trying to make everything seem like it was just this big made up story. But no, there's even been said that different Navy teams use dolphins to help them. It is crazy. These are very smart, intelligent creatures. I don't put anything past them. Now, let me know what y'all think about this, because this whole Gerald the Dolphin situation has literally blew up.
Dimensions are around us all the time. We're just not aware of them. And in some of these dimensions, there are cities, there are people living.
So that's Dolores Cannon, for those of you that don't know. So I believe that the Marine Kingdom cities are operating on a frequency that we can't see. And I also think that they have a transport system, portals and such, that run along the ley lines underneath the ocean. And if you look at the ley lines of the world on this map, they actually cross over quite a lot of the large lakes as well. So I think that's how there's mermaids and such in the lakes. And there definitely seems to be a lot more paranormal water activity in the areas where ley lines intersect. If you look at this intersection here, right off the coast of Haiti, that is an absolute hot spot for reports of demons and mermaids. And there's another one here in Bengal Bay. Now, Bengal Bay I covered in a different post because somebody had told me about the legends of the ringing of the bells underwater that people were actually able to hear. And the legend has it that it's the frequencies of the cities waiting to rise again. Now, what if it's not the cities waiting to rise again, but it's the cities of the Marine Kingdom? And there was some scientific research done on this, and there was actually a frequency that was heard underwater ringing in the early evening times. And that legend isn't just Bengal Bay either. That legend is Celtic waters as well. The sunken city off the coast of Wales. Apparently, if you put your ear to the water there, you can also hear that frequency. So that's probably coming from the ley lines and the portals to the Marine Kingdom from this end of the world. These legends are so similar from so many different parts of the world. There's got to be a transport system, portals and cities that are interconnecting, and what better way for them to get about than use the energies of the world from the ley line grids. I am still unwell, so please excuse my horrible voice. It's not usually quite this grating.
Did you know that the so-called pitchfork the devil holds? Not a pitchfork at all! You bet it ain't! It's a trident! Trident? Looks like a pitchfork to me! Watch and learn. Pitchfork, made for hate. Trident, made for terror. Whoa, this thing's got weight to it! See the difference? Clear. You know who else rocks a trident? Aquaman. And check out that armor. Straight up scale. Huh, scaly sea dude. So it feels ancient? Like fish god vibes? Makes me think of Enki, Dagon. Watch this. Whoa, okay. Same spear, same scale. See? From ocean gods to comic books. Shiny stick.
The devil was always seen holding what we call a pitchfork. But if you go back and do the knowledge of what he was actually holding, it was a trident. The shit they showing you Aquaman is very much real. This civilization has been around since the planet was formed. There are guardians of this planet. So as much as you on land may like to think that you are the big badass and the protectors of the earth, you are not. It is the water beings. When we paying taxes, or well, not we, y'all, when you paying taxes as a citizen, your birth certificate, all of these things, you are subjects to the United States, okay? So when you pay taxes, those taxes, your taxes, like people be like, oh, it's to build new schools. No, it's to pay them motherfuckers. Because for you to keep doing what you doing on land, you have to pay the owners of the sea and the land and slave, and work for them so they can pay their masters. Their masters are your ancestors. That's your blood. That's your family. Everything got to do with water. Big waters, too. Not, your lakes and rivers, but it's jurisdiction over that, too.
Okay, let me ask you this question first. Are you in any way connected to the marine spirits as well, or to the water children?
Well, water children, marine is the same thing. It's just like when I would describe it like, when you are from Africa, then there are people from America, just like that. Because when it comes to river and, ocean, it's just like that, but we're all water family.
So there's a difference between water children and marine children?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The difference is water children are having this water spirit. They carry this essence of water spirits in them. Okay? Marine, on the other hand, you can literally see them in the ocean, mermaid. And they're also having spirits possessed in human.
So you're saying marine children, they come from the ocean, and water children, they come from what? Which source of water?
They come from the mountain, river, lake, yes, and so on.
And what are you?
I'm a river water child.
Oh, you're a water child?
Yes.
Okay. So which ones are good and which ones are bad? Water children or marine children, or they are the same?
No, we have different behaviors. Okay, like I said before on the thing, I'm going to repeat again. When it comes to river or mountain or lake, they just have the essence of kindness, this essence of calmness. They don't look for trouble. They're out to do good. Only when they are pushed to the extent, like when something really betrayal really get to them, then they will react and backfire. They will tell you, like, you can't push me that far. But they cannot tolerate, understand, when it comes to them. Meanwhile, when it comes to the ocean, water, from the people from the ocean, they are very possessive. Marine children. When they are friend with you, they want to be friend with you, just you. They don't like third party. You understand? Even when they have their husband, they are controlling, possessive. And sometimes when the partner doing well in the home, that home will flourish. By the time they sense any form of cheat, withdrawal, that home will collapse. You understand? And they like to do rituals. They like to go to the ocean to do offerings. And also, like I said, they are out to do good, but they are very controlling and possessive.
What is the marine kingdom and the Nephilim demons of the sea? Are they physical beings, or is this just a spiritual phenomenon? By the end of this video, I believe I'll shed some light on those questions. Marine spirits or the marine kingdom is a phrase that's used in some expressions of the Christian charismatic faith. It's associated with beliefs related to demonic oppression and possession. Deliverance ministries exercise what they sometimes relate to marine spirits and the marine kingdom. The Bible never references marine spirits or a marine kingdom, but there are a few verses that are very interesting that allude to that. Matthew 12:43 also references demons and their relation to water. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. There's another reference in relation to the sea that we'll get into towards the end of the video, but now I want to look at the possibility of some physical Nephilim offspring from the fallen angels that are created and living in the sea, which would be a physical being with a demonic fallen spirit. Genesis 6:4, of course, we know the fallen angels mated with earth women and created giants. The Book of Giants, which, if documenting a fact of history, or at least a belief that used to go around, and what people in the ancient times were talking about and telling stories about, these texts are very fragmented, so you only get pieces of what's being said. But one fragment from the Book of Giants here says, 200 donkeys, 200 asses, 200 rams of the flock, 200 goats, 200 beasts of the field, from every animal, from every bird, were chosen for miscegenation. Miscegenation is the mixing of two different types of beings who are considered to be of different races. This is a word for mixing kinds. This next fragment is also from the Book of Giants, and it says, they defiled, they begot giants and monsters, they begot, and behold, all the earth was corrupted. According to this, it sounds like the fallen angels mated not only with women, but also with animals, and they created the giants with the women and monsters with the animals. According to Ocean Literacy and UNESCO.org, this says only about 5% of the ocean has been explored and charted by humans. The rest of the ocean, and especially its depths, are still unknown. If these Nephilim sea creatures do exist, this may be one way that the giants came back on the earth after the flood of Noah. This first creature that we'll look at is known as the Ninjin. Over the past few years, rumors have circulated in Japan about the existence of Arctic humanoid life forms inhabiting the icy waters of Antarctica. Whale research ships are said to have spotted some of these beings. They're said to be completely white in color with an estimated length of 20 to 30 meters. According to one account, crew members on deck observed what they initially thought was a foreign submarine in the distance. When they approached, however, it became clear from the irregular shape of the thing that it was not man-made, it was alive. The creature quickly disappeared underwater. If these creatures do inhabit the waters around Antarctica, this may be one reason why people are not allowed to go and visit Antarctica. Most of the nations of the world have agreed to not allow any visitors to go there under any circumstances besides complete scientific research in which the scientists are watched and controlled, and probably sign non-disclosure agreements and have some high level of security clearance. Now that creature may just be a myth, but these next two instances are proven to be actual true anomalies in the sea. The instance known as the bloop was a powerful ultra-low frequency underwater sound of uncertain origin detected by NOAA, the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, in 1997 in the South Pacific. According to earlier speculations, the sound would have been emitted by a very large, still undiscovered marine mammal, which was named bloop after the sound. In 2012, however, NOAA determined that the sound was consistent with glacier movements such as ice calving or an ice quake or some other type of ice movement in Antarctica. This next story is about a great white shark that was eaten by something bigger than itself. Scientists placed a tracking device on the back of a 9-foot great white shark. The device showed that the shark was suddenly dragged deep into the water and exposed to high temperatures, indicating that it was inside of another animal's digestive system. After years of this remaining a mystery, scientists have recently come out and said they believe this is tied to a colossal great white shark, one 16 feet in length, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if there was some mysterious creature that was out there that they were trying to hide and to come up with a cover story for. Especially if it's known that this creature is of Nephilim origins, then it absolutely would be a creature that they're trying to get a hold of, extract its DNA, or use for whatever purposes, and that would be a 100% classified secret mission. This is probably a good point to mention the Leviathan, but from what I see, it seems like the Lord absolutely made the Leviathan.
I feel like I've only given them 70% of explaining even where we got now.
We'll get you back. We'll get you back.
You definitely have a marine kingdom. Okay. In fact, when you look at Jonah and Nineveh, like these guys at Nineveh, one of the reasons why they received Jonah is because they worship Dagon, fish god. And when Jonah comes out of the fish, they say, this guy must have been sent by one of our gods. And he said, we're going to die in 3 days. Let's repent in ashes and, make good with God. And for whatever reason, it worked. God looked at that situation, delayed the judgment of Nineveh 40 years. But there's more to the story historically like that, because the underwater kingdom has always been understood as a real thing. There are many entities associated with the underwater kingdom. And look, the way the earth works, this planet is not just a surface with a thick, solid core, nothing going on. I'm telling you, this planet has reality happening at every layer. There is an astral plane that sits right next to the physical plane that has its own set of realities. You might have like a house or farm on the physical earth. It's like, that's what I see. But if you move into the astral plane, you're going to see a command center sitting in an open field where there's nothing physically at all. But from that command center, they're running operations, or they're overlapped directly. There are some locations that are like, there's just as much going on in the physical as there is in the spirit because of the interplay between that location and the astral plane. I promise you the Pentagon is one of them. But
I heard you on one of your other episodes. You were like George W. Bush.
We could name a whole lot of locations. There's just as much going on in the spirit as there in the astral. And I use the astral intentionally because there are different layers of the spirit world.
Yeah.
So when you move through the earth, you have the marine kingdom, but then you also have a whole lot of activity that's underground. One of the verses in the Bible, it says this, that at the name of Jesus, every knee must bow in heaven and on earth and
below the earth,
under the earth. Yeah. Boom. Bingo. What's under the earth? Well, realistically, below sea level, you have the marine kingdom, but you also have the underground kingdom. And that would include all kinds of creatures that the earth has millions of miles of tunnels no one could dig up. Even over in the Middle East, the Hittites have inscriptions on tunnels. But historians look at that and they say, no, the Hittites themselves found these tunnels. These tunnels are ancient. Who dug these? Some of them, you could just walk for miles and miles. Some of them, you better not go anywhere near those without some kind of authorization in the spirit world to be there, because it's not empty. And there's a lot of testimony about like even reptilian civilization deep under the earth. And then you have the other side of this reality, the hollow earth. And believe me, hollow earth is 100% real. It is, and there's so much activity going on there. And I run into this in my world because a lot of the survivors that I work with have parts that have had to be trafficked back and forth from the hollow earth. They have whole Nephilim races down there. They have corporations down there. They have governments down there. They have access points. A big one is in Antarctica. Everybody knows that, Sheila, and but here's the thing. There are portals all over the earth that access different areas of this planet. And in fact, some of the most significant ones are under the water. So underwater, there are massive labyrinths that have portals that lead not only to locations on this earth, but parallel earths, believe it or not. And you could even access other locations like other planets with some of these portals as well. And so, but like in every area, you have different kinds of governments. I mean, yes, you do have fallen angel things. You have massive hybrid activity on all of these.
How they be putting the truth in the movie? Listen to this shit. The truth about Atlantis. like this one, you don't. This is the lost trident of Atlantis. Oh, I know the story. It's more than a story. It's real. It was forged by the greatest weapon masters in history. Crafted from Poseidon's steel for King Atlan, the first ruler of Atlantis. Legend says the trident was imbued with the power to command the sea. So what happened to it? To know that is to go back to the time before the Great Fall.
Y'all listening? The Great
When
Flood.
King Atlan ruled over all that was. When the kingdoms of Atlantis were one. It was a time of great prosperity and technological advancement. We had unlocked the secret of unlimited energy at a time when the rest of the world still thought the Earth was flat. But we became too ambitious, too hungry for power.
They're telling us our history in front of us.
The ocean swallowed us, and Atlantis sank. But the very power that collapsed our civilization also paved the way to our future. It gave us the ability to breathe underwater. And so, we evolved.
Look at the blue people again.
Became savage.
The sirens.
And the king lived out the remainder of his days in self-imposed exile. Neither he nor the trident were ever seen again.
Listen, y'all, this is the Atlantic Ocean. What if I told y'all that this is Atlantis right here, and this is their flood right there? I'm about to make another video about this, so y'all gotta stay tuned, but just peep what I'm trying to say. That's what connected America to Europe, bro. Why you think America has some of them Greek ways? So over there as well. Peep that shit.
Atlantis was the whole planet. Earth was Atlantis. Everyone is sitting on top of Atlantis right now, wherever you are. It's just that one of the capitals was the Ring City, which was one of the most beautiful of the capitals, but there were capitals all over the planet. So these beings, they started going to war against each other, using human beings as cattle to fight these crazy wars. And you can find a lot of these wars in the book of Deuteronomy in the Bible, in the Old Testament of the Bible. The book of Deuteronomy literally lays out a lot of these wars that are being issued by these gods. And I do mean gods with an S, because these people, whoever translated the Bible, they by accident on purpose didn't realize that they put God singular when all the translations, if you go back to the original text, say gods with an S. They took the S off the end to give you the illusion of monotheism.
Right. They did that. That's not all they did.
They did a lot more than that.
Y'all know we underwater, right? Y'all know we underwater, right? Because when we came into this world, where did you first come from? You were in your mother's stomach for 9 months as a baby's body, inside of water in her womb. Where did all that water come from? That life comes from it. That water is space inside her womb. So where do you think we're at now? We're in between the firmaments above and the firmaments below because we're underwater. So technically, the space that they taught us isn't real. It's just an ocean, right?